So hello guys, so we are continuing our lecture on ENL421, the English language in Nigeria. And my name remains Professor Yabode Oinwabweze. We are going to go to the third aspect of what we have broken down. So we are looking at Nigerian English and its uses, Nigerian English Pidgin, pardon me, and its uses. So let's get into it now. But don't always forget to subscribe if you want to get more content like this on the English language. We are going to actually up our game on this channel. So please, as you are studying this for this particular class, also remember to look at, because I actually have so many things lined up that we're going to do. So watch out for this spot. So Nigerian Pidgin English, how did it come? How do we develop it? How did it get here? So Nigerian Pidgin English is historically is believed to have grown out of the need for business communication by uh, by people that came, the Europeans that came to the shores of Nigeria. Now, Nigeria used to be just a collection of different kingdoms in the north, in the south, but they were forced into a geographical entity that is today known as Nigeria, that is named by the colonialist girlfriend as Niger area that became Nigeria. So Europeans just needed this language just for their own convenience, and because also the people they met, they did not even bother to learn the language of the people they met. So the people that had to, of course, normally we have known that in sociolinguistic history, that the language that seems to have the higher political power tend to dominate the language with a lower political power. So it is not surprising that it is the people, the indigenous people, that actually had to aspire to master to speak English. History has it that when the Benin Kingdom was having political interaction with Portugal, it was on the basis of equality until the Britons got into their head to come and sack the stubborn Benin Kingdom that refused to bow to them. And then this is how, of course, they were able to, through a kind of subterfuge, they got the land because they needed it for the business. So, but don't let us leave the issue here. So the Nigerian pidgin was just a language of communication, just for convenience. So now he developed a life of his own, because maybe you want to say just the way the Black English in America got a life of his own and became a distinct dialect. So you can see something like that also for the Nigerian Pidgin English. So the growth and development is still mostly southern thing, because it has taken on even up to the crew, like we're going to see in the next class. We're going on even a crew stature, even in the deep south in Nigeria. But it actually has a semblance of widespread spread across the country, because say where people are actually totally ignorant and never exposed, you can kindly find anywhere in the country where you'll find people speaking some kind of pidgin. So that way we could actually say it has a widespread spread, and even to the point that even the BBC actually now has the pidgin version for its newscast. And if you also get online, you will see them do. I mean, you will see even the transcribed form of the news. Now, what are the characteristics of the Nigerian pidgin? So let's look at Nigerian pidgin English. It has features peculiar to it. Now, this can be found. We are going to look at it from the different levels: the phonological, the lexical, the synthetic, and even the semantic. And now, its semantic is usually quite straightforward, because it tends to replicate the language where it borrowed from. So, but let's look at them one after the other. So let's look at the lexis. The lexis is Nigerian Pidgin takes its lexis from the English language and Nigerian indigenous languages. Probably you may also find some that it's also created that are innovative neologisms that came out of combining the old and new forms. Like one thing you see about the Nigerian Pidgin English is that it is actually very what do I call it now? It is actually very creative, innovative, and it's a language of convenience. So definitely, that makes a lot of sense. So this dexterity is in its ability to communicate easily, the borrow words and turn them to neologisms. So we look some examples. We have Oyibo. I want to believe it's a Yoruba thing, but I don't know. But I grew up speaking it or hearing it or calling. Of course, essentially, it's Caucasian people that are called Oyibo, and anybody that's actually be fair skinned that has a lighter than the average maybe people that you find around Nigeria. So that's why you also see that somebody that is very light skinned, locally we actually be called Oyibo. So so Oyibo is a Yoruba word and it's there in English. And of course English is also called Oyibo in the Yoruba language. So if you say Oyinso Oyinbo, that is the person speaking English. So you may want to say, I want to believe this word is sourced from the Yoruba area. Though some people will remove the N, the nasalize in, and turn it to Oyibo. And that's why you find in other languages they actually say Oyibo rather than Oyibo, which is the actual way it's called in Yoruba land. They have Wahala. I don't know this. I always thought you have its origin from Hausa, but I don't know. But I grew up also hearing people talking about Wahala. Then you have Sisi, you have Omoge. Of course, these are Yoruba words that actually talk about a young woman. Then Joko, that's something to sit on. Then Ole, that's thief. Um, you have all this of course like it's normal with the what's it called now, like it's normal with the pidgin. You see somebody say ole barawo, combining both Hausa and Yoruba, so you have a case of tautology. But somebody just look at it at the point where it's an emphasis, not saying it as actually tautology. Then you have Hausa, you have alubosa. I've always thought alubosa was a Yoruba word, but like my place, we call it alubara. But I came to understand or to learn that it is actually having its origin from the Hausa language. Then you have Wayo, which means trickery. Um, then you have Barawo, like I mentioned before, of course, which means a thief. Then you have Igbo. Igbo say Oyi, and that also means a thief. Nna, that's I think just a slang, but it means father, I think. Then Boku, I think that means it's plenty, and Apu, of course, or also called Fufu. Um, is Yoruba Kolonji Okele. Yeah, Apu is made with cassava. Is a kind of meal that made with cassava, but is made into I don't know how to describe it because Nigerians have different versions of it. You have pounded yam, you have eba, you have apple, you have fufu, or what they call yam fufu. Most we call pounded yam, yam fufu. So I don't know whether white people have anything like that. I've seen it in Zimbabwe, something that looks like that, but I don't know. I can't remember the name they call it now. But it is not chewed; it is swallowed. So I've not seen if where I don't know what I can relate it with the white people. So if I heard, but these are words that are so these are from indigenous language. Then you have the one that are believed to have come from the Portuguese, just like Pekin, which means child, Palava, which is mean Wahala. So maybe Palava and Wahala were were from the same source and they tend to be localized. I don't know, but it means trouble. Then Sabi, that means you know too much. Um, then you have from English, you can say story that become tori because in pidgin you now call it tori. Then you have sweet, of course, which um I don't know that you really talk of sweet talk or sweet mouth. So you talk about something that is sweet. So I don't know what else to call it. So that is it. So let's talk about it. So the lexis of the pidgin English. So these are the different sources, and you can see it's it's like the English language is borrows. It likes borrowing. So let's look at lexis. So we also have creations such as duplication, like onomatopoeic sounds. You have the words formed and used to create new lexemes. Then you have waka waka, so you just duplicate them and it becomes a new word. That's somebody that works a lot, that's somebody that moves around a lot, somebody that is restless, somebody that is wanderer. Then you have kata kata, that's a lot of trouble. So when you have things are scattered, so probably it's from scattered that you got kata kata. Then you have talk, somebody that talks too much, so it is a duplication of talk. So talk now become talk. Then pata pata, that means it totally. So that's you have a duplication of that word. So an onomatopoeic expression that actually created a new word. Then you have compound. So words that are compounded in order to form new words, just like you have in English. So you have sweet talk. So you have something that a kind of talk that is too smooth, too good to be true. Sweet mouth, somebody that is too a smooth talker. So because the person is sweet mouth. Then watch night. So a night guard becomes a watch night. There's somebody that watches the night. Then crazy man. So a crazy person is called crazy man. So this is a combination of words to create that. Then these are many more ways that lessons of language developed and increased. And of course, innovation is another part, by an important part of the process. So you have no words, and that is the thing about this particular type, the pidgin English, like we say. Then the grammar, now it has its own structure. So we're going to give examples, and this is not it's not exhaustive. You can find more on your own. So you can easily be seen in structural process, and it's good that there's the language that is in own right. So we can call it a language that developed to become a language by itself. So you can say yes, it's a pidgin English, is a version of the English language, but it has also developed to become a language in its own right. So let's see some examples of the Nigerian pidgin English and the standard Nigerian English. So right arm. So write it. So that is the right arm. She's writing it. So you have a continuous tense. Then you have a right arm. That means the person wrote it in the past. Then you don't write arm. That means there is a past participle. Then you go write that is the future. So these are actually adapted from EP 2010, but some parts of this were not there, so we included those that are there. But you can give us more examples if you have them. But the structure of the grammar is obvious that it has its own structure. So you don't because we are look at it, its own spellings, its own structure. When I look at that, it cannot be exhaustive because you also have the function words, and then you have the way it creates its own pronouns. So these are things words that actually have probably been taken from English and adapted to have perform a new function in the pidgin English. So in case you can pass the structure a matter of fitting into the element. So it first when you are passing it, then you see now that the way the structure formed should may have a word like right arm now. Actually is what is it called now? Is a verb, the first person verb in English, but now you see it's performing another function as a complement in the pidgin English. Um, so some structural pattern, there's a peculiar structure it has. Then let's look at phonetics and phonology here. Now, there's not much to say here for the simple fact that when you look at phonological form in Nigerian, it's especially what you call Nigerian accent now, except when it is we talked into what you call the Warri version of the pidgin English. It's essentially the way people speak English in Nigeria that you see them speaking in pidgin. So we cannot say there's a particular structure to the phonetics and phonology of English except the way it occurs. When you look at following the grammar, it follows that pattern. So you cannot say that it has a special way it is pronounced. Except again, you will say that if you say compared to standard Nigerian English, the phonology here now will require you talking it the way the indigenous person will speak it. So it will require the way the indigenous person will speak it. So if you want to make an issue of that, because the person that speaks Nigerian English will probably what do you call it now? The person may probably try to speak it a bit close to the RP, but whereas the person speaking English will actually, I mean, the pidgin English will always speak it the way that somebody will speak it in what are the available sounds within Nigerian languages. So let's look at semantics again. Now, the content of the semantics of the Nigerian pidgin is we follow, like we have mentioned this before, we likely follow the source of where except where it has been adapted, except where it has been moved, except where there be a semantic extension. So that's where you may have a difference. I give the example of in the Nigerian English, and the standard English that you say I am a woman. If I say I am a woman or I am a boy, I am a girl, but here in English say you write am, and which actually is translated to it. So it's functioning as a complement, it's functioning as a pronominal element here, not as a verb. So it has been shifted, it has been moved. So in such you have such cases. Otherwise, the thing that you may have is all these neologisms that have been created by combining words and all those kind of things. Otherwise, the word may likely mean what it has meant originally from the language where it was borrowed from. Then, what are the uses of Nigerian pidgin in Nigeria? Um, what do we use Nigerian English to do? Is actually seen as a language of unity because we don't need to go to school to learn it. You find it easily as a way to communicate with a broad spectrum of people within the community. So it came to Nigeria in the first place as a pragmatic instrument for business communication, and therefore it has served mainly that purpose. It has served the purpose of people interacting. It has served the purpose of this. So let's see some of the things that you say can. It serves as a means of inter-ethnic communication. It serves social purposes in informal setting. So when you have informal settings, mostly except people that are using it, like radio, Wazobia, and some other language places where they are used for mass communication purposes, it serves mainly in informal settings. It is a play an easy way of also mixing and trans what do you call it now, code mixing and all of that. Then it has convey message to all and sundry. Mentioned that it does not also require schooling to master it. So yeah, I know how you speak it. I mean, it's acceptable. Nobody will start correcting you. The way you may even actually have a problem is if you now speak standard English and mix it with the indigenous language, the pidgin English, then it may create a bit of problem. Then it is used for mass communication. So it enables the ease of communication so that you are easily able to discuss with a wide spectrum, a wide range of people, and without needing to be breaking your jaws, or to be looking for a dictionary. Then it also has national spread. So we have mentioned this. The spread may not be as we need empirical data to actually establish this, but then to a large extent, I think there's no part of this country you go to, you not see somebody speaking a smattering of the pidgin English, which you may not find with the standard Nigerian English. The use of the MP in Nigeria continue. Despite all this identification of the MP, it has some obstacles. And what are these? Many regard it as the language of the uneducated, as people that are illiterate, as people that are speaking. Then it is seen as formless and structureless language. But we have seen that actually it has its pattern, it has its structure. So we have seen that in this grammar. It's viewed with suspicion by the highly educated, regarded as a pollutant to the RP. Now, the interesting thing that these same highly educated people, um, uh, yes, we see it interfering a lot with the mastery of the English language, especially by English teachers, because most of the people may just find it funny, but English teacher will actually feel offended by the child putting this pidgin English into the essay and all of that, and they find that this is what is hindering many students from being able to actually get the mastery. That's why their efforts to let them to speak the standard English and all of that. But so these obstacles, but attempts have been made, scholarly attempts have been made to actually get this language to be studied and to be mastered and to be treated like a normal language. So what do you think? We'd like to hear from you from the comments what your views are. So why do you think that the MP still faces all these obstacles despite its many usefulness? So we'd like to hear your views now. What do you think can be done to make it to a more acceptable language as solution to Nigerian national language problem? Is it possible that MP could be the answer to the Nigerian national language issue? So we have mentioned that assignment. Actually, I just noticed that the assignment actually is meant to come at the end of the whole class, but it's okay. You can take note of that. So this is the end of this video now. So make sure that um you go through this, you listen carefully, and you take down your notes. I hope this helps you. So see you in the next video. Thank you very much for your attention.